group of teenagers that were staying in an old cabin in the woods that they had found. Why do all these stories start with an old cabin in the woods? While they were there, they decided to play a game of truth or dare using dice. So depending on how you rolled it, it would tell you which option you had to go with. Now, there was this guy named Mike who was there, and it was his turn to play. But he wasn't really worried because he was a pretty out there dude and he wasn't afraid to do crazy things. Well, his friends dared him to go down into the basement of this cabin. And this door was literally bolted shut. And there was this slight weird smell coming from underneath the doorway. So Mike walked over and kicked down the door in only 3 attempts. And he was feeling really brave until he began walking down the stairs. The air was musty and cold. It was like no one had been down there for decades. And the rule was that he had to go into the basement and walk to the very back of the wall and touch it to complete this dare. When he got to the bottom, he could barely see anything because there was no windows and it was pitch black. And there were puddles all over the floor. So he began to walk with his hands out in front of him because he couldn't see anything. And he had no idea how far he needed to go, so he just kept walking and walking until he felt like he touched a damp wall in front of him. So he assumed it must have been the back of the basement. Touched it! He yelled for his friends to hear upstairs. But as soon as he said that, the surface he was touching began to move underneath his fingers. It almost had the motion of someone breathing. And in that moment, he realized it was not a wall he had touched, but instead someone's bare back that was standing in the basement with him. So he instantly ran up the stairs, grabbed a couch, and pushed it in front of the door so whatever that thing was, it couldn't get out of the basement. And he vowed to never play truth or dare ever again.